You're listening to the Practical Wealth Show with Curtis May, putting you in the driver's seat to control your finances. Let's start the Practical Wealth talk about alternatives to Wall Street.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Practical Wealth Show, and where we talk about money and alternatives to Wall Street. So I'm excited. I have a special guest today, Carey Buck, and I'm going to read a little about, she's done a lot. So, and I want to tell you a little about her, and I'm excited. And so let me give you the theme of this show. So remember, we talk about the money for life formula, which is get money, bank it. Banking somewhere allows you to be the bank. You know, that's our central strategy. Borrow it, spend it, repay it, right? With interest. So right now, we're going to talk about get money. So I'm going to bring you a lot of things around cash flow and making more money, because one of my favorite saying is, I can't steer or park cars. You got to have some cash flow. All right. And so Carey, let me give you a little background with her so you know who you're talking to. She started multiple businesses. Starting in her late teens and early 20s, she transformed herself into a passive income expert. She's a successful real estate investor and an ATM business owner, which is the title of our talk today. And she spoke on the same stages as Bill Walsh, Dave Lindenhall, Adam Markell, Keith Cunningham, which some people say is the real rich dad. And she's going to teach you how to create a lifetime of passive income by owning your own ATM machine. You're saying, what, Curtis? I thought the banks owned the ATM machines. Right? So we're going to find out about that, right? That's what I thought. And her phenomenal ATM business blueprint success system has helped people all over the United States, Canada, and Australia to start and grow their own successful and profitable ATM business. She will teach you how to spend more time with family and friends, less to no time with annoying coworkers, and ultimately how to make money while you sleep, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me welcome and get your pens out, because you're going to want to take some notes on this episode. How you doing, Carey?
Wonderful, Curtis. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for that great intro. How are you doing?
Yeah, hey, I am doing fantastic. I'm excited to learn how to make money while I sleep.
There you go. There you go. And I'm glad you told them to get some pens out and take notes, because I have a tendency to ramble.
There you go. That's all right. That's why I say if you're listening to this on the what is it called? Not Stairmasters, whatever it's called, elliptical or treadmill, come back. And when I listen to podcasts, I'll hear something good and say, okay, when I get back, I'm going to get somewhere and get my journal out and take some notes. So this might be, y'all need to create a money journal, where when you hear ideas, you've got to learn how to, this is not like the Tonight Show just for entertainment. Y'all want to know how to make some damn money. Okay.
It's got a real purpose.
It's got a real purpose. You ain't just up here whistling Dixie, as they say. So, Carey, tell them about your background and how you started at a young age, and what got that entrepreneurial bug going for you, and short story of how we got to where you are now.
Yeah, well, when I was a real young kid, when I didn't even know what entrepreneur was, I would see neighbors and family members get up and go to work and honestly just bitch about it, and they just look forward to the weekend all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the weekend got here, they all dreaded Monday.
Right.
So as a kid, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. But I'm a kid, and I just went through life, and I started actually selling stuff. Believe it or not, this is actually true. I would actually sell seashells by the seashore.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah, I would go to Wildwood every year because my cousin and my aunt.
Isn't that something? Susie sells seashells.
Yeah, exactly. And my cousin's name was Sue. So me and Sue would sell seashells by the seashore. We would paint them and sell them.
That is funny.
That's kind of how
that 3 times fast. That's
funny. Right? That's how the entrepreneur came out. But again, still I didn't know what that meant.
Mm-hmm. How old when you did start doing that, do you think you were?
I was probably like 8.
What you'll find in entrepreneurs is that it didn't just happen. They didn't wake up at 25. They have been doing little hustles since they were a kid.
Yeah. I would do that. We would sell, iced tea and high C out there. We would do all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just hustling, but I didn't know I was hustling. I was having fun.
Right.
And then, I got older and I started to realize I didn't really want to work all the time and be miserable and look forward to Fridays and then dread Mondays. So I just started little gigs here and there. And here's the thing, they all failed. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them failed. But when you are an entrepreneur, like you got the entrepreneur spirit, you know, it's in you and you just keep going until you end up being successful, which is what I ultimately did.
Right. I mean, because all you did was figure out a way it didn't work. And you see, people are afraid to try, but you know, you have to, before you can be good, you got to be bad. Mm-hmm. And before you can be bad, you got to try, you know, and exactly. So people want what do you say? You can't leave home and wait for all the lights to be green, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, I think every entrepreneur I know have tried all these other businesses that failed until they found that thing that worked. And now, boom, they just take off, you know?
Absolutely.
And no overnight success was an actual overnight success.
Right. Exactly.
What do they say? It's like 10 or 15 years or 20 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Overnight success?
Listen, people look at me and I'll do talks and it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm not a natural. I was horrible. Okay. And I tell people, look, when I tell them you got to read 10, 12 pages a day, I am a product of personal development. So I worked really hard on Curtis, you know.
Nice. Yeah.
And, but I wasn't afraid to try stuff. So some people are afraid to try, you know. I was blessed because my dad said, listen, you learn by screwing up. So, you know, and he always told me, you never make any money, work for somebody else. So that's the advice I got at 8.
That's awesome.
And I sold seeds at the back of comic books and
there you go.
You know, all those little hustles. You know, we had our baseball team sold chances to raise uniforms. Shout out Forest of Trees. And from my Yorktown friends that are listening. And so anyway, keep going, Carey.
Yeah, I just started, hustle, and then I learned about real estate. Here's what I think a lot of people do, and I did the same exact thing. I never did anything because I was afraid. I was scared because real estate was too much money. And what if I didn't have money? And what if this? And what if that? So I didn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. And 3 years later, though, and this is something that some of your folks might want to try. If you need to trick your mind to do something, trick your mind to do something. So I got the call on sheets in 96. In 1999, I said, you know what? I'm going to get started in real estate a different way because I was still afraid of the big numbers. Mm-hmm. I decided to invest in mobile homes because they were cheap. So I started investing in mobile homes, and I would get them from anywhere from $0 to like $3,000, and then I would sell them with owner financing. So I would have that passive income coming in. And I was like, all right, this is cool. And then one day I was at my mom's house, and my mom and dad are divorced. So I was there with my stepdad. And he was asking me how things were going. And I told him, I said, yeah, I'd like to, buy single family houses one day, but I don't know. I don't want to do it now. And he's like, why? What's the problem? And I told him, I'm like, look, I'm scared. The money there's a lot of money. And what if I can't afford it? And yada, yada. And he said to me, listen, you just need to go out and do it. You need to go out and do it. There is no foreclosure jail. If you can't pay the mortgage one day, you're not going to go to jail, and you always have a place to come home to. So just go out and do it.
Right.
And that was in January of 2001. February 1st, 2001, I bought my first single family house.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I've been investing in real estate since then. But I still always had a job. Like I had a full-time job this whole time, Curtis, and I'm just doing my thing. And I still hate the job. I look forward to the weekends, and I dread Monday, and then I read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker in 2009.
Okay.
And there was one line in that book that it sounds dramatic, but it literally changed my life forever. Harv says, you become financially free when your passive income exceeds your expenses.
There you go.
And a light bulb went off in my head that day. And I said, I'm going to stop all this hustling I'm doing, because I was wholesaling, putting out bandit signs. I was doing all kinds of shit when it came to real estate.
Okay.
And I just started concentrating on passive income. And I went to a property management seminar because I decided I'm just going to have like rentals and apartment buildings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm from Philly, so I'm of the mindset of I want to learn how to do something first, so I know if you're going to try to screw me over or not.
Right.
So I went to the.
Is that a Philly thing? That's
well, I might be,
Yeah.
Maybe it's an East Coast thing.
Yeah. It's something, right?
Yeah, it's something. And I went to this property management seminar, and that's how I learned about the ATM business. And in 2009, we started our ATM business. And that, my friend, is when I really started to see passive income for the first time in my life really come in. And I guess 3 years later, I was fired from my job and I never had to have a job ever again. I've been unemployed by choice since 2012.
Right. You're unemployable now.
There you go. Funny thing, I got a shirt that says that, unemployable.
That's funny. Yes. I know. It's like I just got Dan Sullivan, who I follow, says, entrepreneurship is a life sentence.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's cool. So, okay. So tell us about that. Okay. So now we've got passive income. It's funny because I didn't know till a mutual friend of ours told me that he bought one. I was like, what? And then I remember for like about 3 months, I worked at PNC Bank. And I remember this guy had come in and he was getting out all this money for his ATM machine. It didn't dawn on me that, okay, this is not like, I'm just thinking you just go to the bank, you go to Wells Fargo, you go to your ATM machine, and then you don't think about those little ones in these, little hotels and, that kind of stuff. So talk to me about the opportunity that you see and then the business model and how you teach people about this stuff.
Yeah, well, the first thing, you're not alone. Like most people don't know that, normal folks like you and I can own ATM machines. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that only banks can. Mm-hmm. And the stat is, I believe it's up to 60% of ATMs now are owned by people just like you and me.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the rest are owned by banks. So that is a huge
60%. So 6 out of 10 of all the ATMs in the country are owned by regular people.
Yep.
That's fascinating. Okay.
And that's huge opportunity for folks because most folks don't know that it's possible. Mm-hmm. It is possible. That's the first thing they need to realize, that it's possible. And then the second thing is really, really key, that you definitely want to get educated in this business because there's a lot of, how do I say it? I'm going to say it in nice. There's a lot of shadiness that can go down in this business. There's a lot of shady companies out there that want to take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. I learned that the hard way.
Okay.
I started in the business in 2009, got screwed over. 2011 is when I decided, you know what? I'm going to teach other people about this business so they don't get screwed like I did.
Okay.
Now, clearly I can only teach folks so much, in order for them to not get screwed. They need to ultimately, reach out to me to work with me for me to ultimately protect them. Mm-hmm. And not everybody does that, mm-hmm. but that was why I started teaching people. So because there's the business, it's been shady for a long time. And
okay.
For me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to folks. And it's been my part of the world trying to help folks.
Okay. And so you have a video somewhere like 4 different business models, 4 ways to do it. I don't know if it's too soon to jump into that, but I'll tell you
the most profitable way, the way that I teach for folks to be the most profitable is to own the machines themselves mm-hmm. and to use their own money inside the machines. Mm-hmm. And that's the most profitable because you're not paying anybody. You're not paying anybody to fill them. You're not paying anybody to service them. You're just taking care of it yourself. You're making 100% of the profits. And when I speak and I give you these tips, they're assuming folks are doing it the right way, that I'm teaching them how to do it, because there are ways where you're not making 100% of profits and you are, spending all these unnecessary fees, right? Mm-hmm. So the way that I teach, you're making 100% of your profits because you're using your own money. And the cool thing is, let's say you want to put, just for simplicity's sake, let's say you're taking $1,000 and you're putting it in your ATM machine.
Yep.
You only have to put that $1,000 in that ATM machine one time because it keeps getting recycled back into your bank account. And then you keep taking it out and putting it in your machine, taking it out, putting it in your machine. So let's say you fill your machine once a week.
Right.
So that's $4,000. But you don't need $4,000. You just need that $1,000, and you're going to put it in 4 times a month.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just your money's constantly recycling, and
so they pull it from once they pull it out of your machine, then the bank pulls it out of their bank and puts it into your bank plus the fee.
Boom.
Right.
Exactly.
I had to draw that out. I was like, what? Okay, that is. So if you're charging just $2.50, $3 a thing, if you do 100 transactions,
you just made $300 on your $1,000.
Yeah, which is
every month.
What is that? That's like
ridiculous. That's what that ridiculous.
Yes, finance guy. So I'm like, okay, well, that's 30%, but yeah, I mean, so that is, and you're not, basically you got a vending machine that vends money.
That's exactly what it is, Curtis. That
As
is
opposed
exactly
to soda and candy, right?
Your product doesn't go bad. It doesn't go stale. You just keep using it over and over and over again.
And so what does it take to get started? Where do machines go? That kind of stuff. Like what kind of money does somebody need to get in the game?
I would say the minimum, and this is another thing that folks think they need all this kind of money to get started in this business. I would say the minimum price I'm going to give you includes training, includes me helping them. All right. Minimum is somewhere between $4,500 to $6,000. And that includes training. That includes your ATM. That includes, I'm going to start with $1,000 cash inside the ATM for them, $500 for insurance, and just little tidbits here and there. But that's getting started, just right away with your first one. Your second one is always going to be cheaper because you don't pay for training again, right? You're just paying for your ATMs. And an ATM anywhere, I would say ATM anywhere from $2,000 to $2,200. Brand new, 12-month warranty.
Brand new. See, that's a $2,000 investment. And if you're making $300 a month, most people that are doing things like turnkey real estate, that's all they make. But they had to put out $20,000. Exactly. And that's why it's so attractive. I mean, and it's a total cash flow play, right? Because real estate appreciates. Your ATMs aren't going to necessarily appreciate, right? You're going to depreciate them with your taxes every year, But it's total cash flow, and boom, 300 consistent every single month. And another thing for your listeners to know is the average ATM in an average location will make you somewhere between $300 to $600 per month. Get out.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, they do more too. Like we have a handful that do over $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Ridiculous, right?
That is ridiculous. Wow. and you fill them up yourself.
I still do because I don't have a job. I do it once a week.
Okay.
Not a big deal, And this is the cool thing. It takes me probably, I would say 8 to 10 hours a week. I take one day and I fill up my machines. And that's because I didn't have somebody reliable and legit and trustworthy teach me this business.
Right.
Versus if I showed you how to do this business and you had the same number of machines that I have now, it would probably take you maybe 4 hours or less to fill the same number of machines. Wow. And it takes me to fill 8 or 10.
Okay.
So you literally can make a full-time income on a part-time basis with this.
So it's better to have a shortcut to not beat your head against the wall. Well, people say, well, I can just go run out and, it's 2,000. I'll figure out where to do it. But there's things like, here's the other questions I get. Well, how do you know where to put them, or how do you find location?
Exactly, right. And that's part of the whole, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to wing it mentality, right? And they just go out and try to wing it, and they don't realize, and you can't really expect them to realize if they don't know the business. They don't realize all the issues that could happen. Here's a big thing that could happen. If you don't buy your ATMs from reputable, trustworthy dealers or suppliers, and again, if you don't know the business, how are you going to know who they are? Right? Because there's tons of them on Facebook or on Google if you search. But if you don't buy them and you put out an ATM that's not compliant, that's a big deal, because the first fine from the federal government is a minimum of $50,000.
Ouch.
Right. So it's a big deal. Like, it not only saves you time, but it saves you money, and it saves you a headache to already know what to do. Like, have a proven system and just follow it. And I always tell folks, when it comes to finding locations, best place to start, honestly, is places you already go.
Okay.
Places you already go. That's how I started, like places I already went. And I had a full-time job at the time, and I have a family, I had stepkids, a lot of stuff going on. So I didn't really commit full-time to the business right away. And I kind of just did it as I went along. So we went out to dinner. I talked to them about an ATM business. I went to get my haircut. I talked about ATM, right? So definitely places you already go. Definitely places family and friends go, right? Referrals, over 80% of our business is based on referrals, right?
What would you say, like in a conversation, you're a hair salon and you notice they don't have one or something like that?
Hey, you guys ever thought about having an ATM in here?
No. Well, no, I didn't know how to do that. Yes, I did, but I didn't know what to do. Basically what you're going to get.
It's easy as that. Like, and then a conversation is going to ensue. And here's the thing. This is how people get, I don't want to say get in trouble, but this is how when people go out to do it on their own, it's real easy to say, hey, have you ever thought about having an ATM in here? That's simple. Anybody can say that. The problem happens is when that business owner starts asking questions that you, the person who just has no idea what they're doing and just decided to go and, I commend you for taking action, but you don't know what you're doing. So when they start asking you questions, you get that deer in the headlight look.
Yep.
And boom, you lose all credibility. And you just lost a potential location, right? And people don't think about that either because they're like, and sometimes people call me, I'll do these strategy sessions with folks and they're like, yeah, I went out and the business owner seemed interested, but then they started asking me questions and I didn't know what to say. I said, I have to get back to you.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you don't know what you're doing.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, a way to ask for referrals from folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real simple too. Like friends or family or whomever you're with, coworkers, say, hey guys, I just started a new ATM business. Do you know of any location that could use an ATM? Every one of them is probably going to tell you no right then and there because they're, again, amazed at the fact that you started an ATM business because you're not a bank.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Here's the key. When they do go into a location that could use an ATM, who do you think they're going to tell?
Right.
Boom.
Right.
You.
Boom. Yeah. There you go. That's really cool. Mine is racing now. I'm trying to because it's most people with a tax refund or it's profitable enough to get a loan against your 401k.
Yeah.
We say where you source capital, where you get the money from. One of actually Carey and I, a mutual friend, one of my clients. Matter of fact, Chris, he didn't want to talk about it because he doesn't want anybody to call him about it because that's not his primary business. But Chris started with a policy loan from the banking system that we teach to set it up. He's like, yeah, I just bought an ATM. I was like, what? Next thing I know, I was like, yeah, I got 3. And then, I didn't talk to him for about, 6 months. Yeah, I got 8 now. I was like, what? I was like, okay, all right, and of course, it was from Philly, right? I'm lunching. Luncheon means we're not moving fast enough. You lunchbox, we used to call it. I had a football coach call me lunchbox because I would be spacing out somewhere. But it was fascinating that you could do that. And one of the reasons I wanted to get Carey on the show, because every time I would tell the story now, I was telling it from a standpoint to show people, hey, here is what you can access money and, create velocity and cash flow using money, by using your own banking system.
Yeah.
But they all want to hear about, well, wait, how do you get ATMs, right?
Yeah.
So they would want to call him. I was like, you know what? I am going to get the source on the show. Y'all can call her.
Yeah, it's intriguing. It's totally intriguing. And Chris is a great guy. Chris is a student of mine. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yep. And so it's funny. We where were we at, Carey? Carey, we were on a panel together with
the
Bill Walsh. What was I think? Vision of Wealth.
Yeah.
What should they look out for? What are the risks? What is the everything is not all bright lights and glamour. If in your mind, there's always a dark side. No, it's not always, but what are risks that people should be prepared for or look out for, if any?
Yeah. So the ATM business itself, if it's done the right way, is totally, I don't want to say risk-free because I don't feel like that's integrity and integrity, but it's as risk-free as possible because I teach people how to mitigate or eliminate risks, right? Mm-hmm. But let's forget about all that. So potential risks are ATM gets stolen, right? Or the cash inside gets stolen. I mean, you have insurance for that, right?
Right.
Potential risk is you put an ATM in a bad location, don't make any money. Well, you make sure you have a proper contract with the proper clauses, and you pick it up and move it somewhere else. Something you can't do with a rental property, right? Right. Exactly. Potential risks are you get involved with shady suppliers or shady processors, or you're buying ATMs off eBay or Craigslist, and you don't know who you're buying from or what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of risk because you could be setting yourself up for fines from the government. You could be setting yourself up for fines from Visa and MasterCard. And let's say you buy an ATM off of, let's say, Craigslist. It's a used machine and somebody puts a skimmer on it or something, right? And it's not EMV compliant. Well, the customers that got scammed, any money that was taken from them, whether it's $100 or $10,000 or $100,000, whatever, you're on the hook for.
Wow.
Because your machine wasn't compliant. And if it's not ADA compliant and it gets reported, like I said, the minimum fine from the federal government, first time fine is $50,000.
Wow.
Right. So there's risk when you don't know what you're doing. And that's why I started teaching people in 2011 to keep people away from the shady side of the business. So So, the shady suppliers, the shady processors that tell you one thing, make you sign a 5-year contract and then do something different. But their contract's so good, you can't get out of it. So you just end up being pissed off until the 5 years is up,
Wow. So like
and then you have to make sure then you got to make sure you get out of that 5-year contract the right way. Otherwise, it renews,
Wow.
So I started to this teaching people in 2011 because of that. And now I'm finding that the other thing they have to be wary of is other people trying to teach this business. Because there are scammers out there that lie to people that don't know what they're doing, that try to just kind of make it seem like unicorns and puppy dogs and rainbows, right? And, people fall for it because they want it to be unicorns, puppy dogs, and rainbows.
Right.
And it's generally younger folks that fall for the shadiness, and I feel really bad for them, but I can't help them because they're falling for that, So nowadays, not only do I have to kind of help folks steer away from the shadiness of the suppliers and the processors, but now I got to help them steer away from the shadiness of other people trying to scam them by teaching them this business.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that, when people tell me, I'll get approached by network marketers, which I love that business, by the way. So I'm going to do a show on that. But when somebody tells me it's easy, anybody can do it, or you don't have to work hard. I mean, it's easy, hard work, but there is still work. You still got to find locations. You still got to learn some stuff. You still got to put some time in. And if you see, because people that are talented know that, it's not easy to be good at something. You got to put some work in to learn some basic stuff so that you can have success. So it's not just going to fall into your lap. Like people buy those Carlton Sheets courses and it still hasn't left the shrink wrap. So if you don't listen to it and go out and make offers, it don't work. It ain't the pretty packaging or the brand new CDs and, that kind of stuff. So there's work. So Carey, you have a course on this. Is that right? That where people could, you'll teach them how to do this and a program. Tell them about it.
It's called ATM Business Blueprint. It's been out since 2011. So 7 years I've been teaching people. I actually revamped it August of 2017 to make it more updated. Mm-hmm. So that's ATM Business Blueprint 2.0. But I literally teach them everything from A to Z. And I give them everything they need, like the contracts and forms. I give them my preferred vendors so they know they're dealing with trustworthy folks. And the cool thing about my preferred vendors is, so I've been in the business 9 years. Mm-hmm. And I've built these relationships and I get certain pricing, I get certain benefits, and when you're a student of mine and you contact them, you're brand new in the business, but you get the same thing that I now get when I've been in the business for 9 years. So it's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I teach all that, and literally it's a proven system that I have laid out for folks. That this sounds so simplistic when I say this, Curtis, but all they have to do is follow the proven system and do it, and they will be successful because people have been doing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
Just follow it. It's no good, like you said, it's no good if they just go through the system. That's not going to do anything for you. You got to go through the system and implement. That's the key word, implement.
Yes, implementation is everything. You got to ask people, hey, you ever thought about putting an ATM in here? And, and somebody's going to say yes, someone going to say no. But, you'll get better the more you do it, and you'll know your responses. You'll know your paperwork. You'll have an eye for it. You'll walk around and go, hey, there's nothing in here. Is the owner, who can I speak to the owner, right?
And here's the thing. I teach you exactly what to say in every situation. And I teach you exactly what the business owner is going to say back to you. And I teach you how to respond to them. But you're still going to mess up because you're new and you're nervous.
Yeah.
You just learn from your mistakes. That's all good. The owner has no idea you messed up.
So who's this a good fit for? I still everybody really, but, just some people tend to do better than others.
I will say it's a good fit for, I love folks that are former athletes. Mm-hmm. I love folks that are former or current military. Mm-hmm. I love teachers. And these kinds of people I love because I know that if you give them a play or a mission, that they will follow it and execute it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I want my students to be successful. But in a nutshell, anybody that wants to generate passive income, full-time passive income, part-time passive income, if they want it because they want to get out of their 9-to-5 jobs, if they want it because they want to be able to send their kids to better schools, if they want it because they want to plan for a more fruitful retirement, or if they just want it because they just want that freedom of choice. They want freedom. This is for them.
Listen, that's a big group of people. Okay. And so folks, if you want freedom, if you want cash flow, see folks, you can't eat net worth. And, flipping, we're going to bring some people on to talk about that, but that is a job, because you're as good as your last flip. And so if you want to go away and stay away, you need passive income, because you can hire somebody if you can find a good person to fill the machines up for you. If you want to, let's say you want to spend 3 weeks at the shore or something like that. So
if you're on my Facebook, we travel a lot. So I don't want folks to ever think that the ATM business will hold you down. Like it will not hold you down. It gives you the freedom to be able to travel. I just teach you how to set that up and how to plan for that. And when you were mentioning flipping and real estate, I'll tell you, they were the first folks that got into my ATM training because they understood. I would explain it like this. I want you to look at an ATM and I want you to now picture it as a mini rental property without tenants, toilets, or trash.
Right.
And they were like, whoa, yeah, I want that. Right. And what I found is if you are into real estate or whatever you're in, this is a perfect complement. Like if you're flipping, right, and you're let's say you're in the middle of a rehab and you're scheduled to be done in 60 days, but it's going to take 90 days because we know how things happen when it comes to real estate. It always takes longer than we think. Well, sometimes people flip out because they don't have that cash for those 30 days. Well, perfect complement. You now have an ATM business that has consistent cash flow coming in every month. No need to go into a financial frenzy anymore.
Right, exactly. So when your passive income exceeds your expenses, you are financially independent. You're not rich, but you're financially independent, which is the first step. You've bought your life back, and now you can work on being rich because you got time and money to do better and bigger deals, and you just keep working on yourself and keep doing other stuff or keep expanding.
And I think people need to realize how important and how much of a necessity passive income is in their lives. Like it should be it should be like the most important thing that they kind of strive for right now. And I actually just did a video on this, like the three important reasons why you should have passive income. The first one is you're not going to be able to work forever. Let's be honest,
Right.
We physically, our bodies physically will not be able to work forever. So we need to figure out how to make money while we don't have to actually work for it. Hopefully folks aren't, counting on Social Security, right? So
I don't let my clients do that. I was like, listen,
right, exactly. I know you don't. And the second reason is because you just want freedom. You want to do extra things. You want to maybe take your family to Disney, or you want to, take off for 4 weeks to do whatever, or send your kids to better schools. You just want that freedom to do stuff you want to do.
Right.
Maybe you've always wanted to, I'm not like a materialistic kind of person, but maybe you've always wanted to buy a fancy kind of car and you decide to do that. And I don't think your clients do that kind of stuff either.
They want to.
They want to. And then the final reason that you definitely need to have passive income, and this is super important, is life happens.
Yes.
Like life happens. Like I don't care who you are, you're going to have a death in the family. You're going to lose loved ones. They could be pets. It could be siblings. It could be parents. A job will give you 3 days and you're supposed to be over it. And, everything's supposed to be great in 3 days, but that's not real life.
Right.
One of my cats died unexpectedly. My cats, by the way, are my kids.
Okay. Right.
One of my cats died in June 2015. And it was sudden, and it was unexpected. And I went into a deep depression for 3 months. I'd say 3 to 4 months. I didn't do anything. I didn't help anybody. I didn't talk to anybody on the phone. I didn't care about my students. I didn't speak. I didn't when I speak on stages, I didn't do any of that because I was grieving. I was upset. I was sad. I would cry a lot, and I didn't feel like how can I help somebody with passive income? How could I help somebody with ATMs when I'm in a different place, right? But here's the thing. Nothing drastically happened to me financially because my ATMs were constantly giving me that passive income that I needed.
There you go. That's it. And so life happens. You have to be able to, that's everything, and so if you're listening to this and you're self-employed, whereas if you don't you don't eat, or if you're trading your expertise for dollars, you must develop passive income at some point. It's only 168 hours in a week. So and if you're on vacation, you're not generating any revenue. So, you've got to make money and then buy assets. What is an asset? Something that puts money in your pocket without your labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without a lot of your labor anyway. And you got to buy assets every month. So,
Yes.
if you could buy, you think it's unrealistic to say they could do a machine a month?
No, as long as they have access to the funds.
Yeah. For a year, that's 12.
Oh, yeah. And you say if they're making 300 to 600 a month each.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
That's a year, And so what happens is 3 years of that, you are making more money. You would need probably a good $1 million, $2 million in 401k to achieve the same type of cash flow that you could with 24 under 50 grand and some sweat equity.
Yeah, and the sweat equity, I'll tell you guys, it's just in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just in the beginning when you're finding the locations and learning the business and doing the conversation, having the conversations and installing your machines. Because once your machines are set up, it's just once a week you're filling them. I mean, and it literally takes anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds to fill an ATM machine.
Yeah, that's great. So let's recap. So the work is you got to learn how to do it right. You are going to learn where to ask for referrals or spy locations. You got to get some money, use your money. So that means you got to save some money. So you have some money to get a machine.
Use your money wisely. Yep.
Right. Use your money wisely.
And Curtis will help you with that.
Curtis will definitely help you with that. And wash, rinse, and repeat, basically.
Boom. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. So, Carey, give them your contact information. So if they want to reach out to you and find out more about, your course and learning how to do this.
So they can go to one of two places. One is called atmbusinessblueprint.com. So atmbusinessblueprint.com. They'll get my free roadmap to kind of give them a synopsis, like a mind map form of the business.
Okay.
And they also have the opportunity, if they'd like, to set up a breakthrough session with me and to talk about the business and see if it's a fit for them. So they could do that. That's all free. And I also have a group on Facebook. It's called cashflowhackers.com, a group for passive income seeking entrepreneurs. And once they get in there, they can also see, have the links to all my YouTube videos, to all my ATM blog posts. And they can still, set up a time to talk to me as well if they'd like to.
All right, perfect. Well, we'll make sure we put those links in the show notes. And that is, so any final parting words of wisdom for my audience, Carey?
I will tell them just like I told folks at
Vision of Wealth.
Yeah, I'll tell them just like I told them, knowledge is not power. Knowledge followed by the implementation of that knowledge is power. So they need to get out there and implement. All
right, folks, the speed of implementation. So with that, I want to thank my special guest, Carey Buck, and for breaking down the ATM business for you all and show you an easy way to generate some cash flow so you can have some fun and get away from your annoying coworkers.
There you go. Thank you, Curtis. It was my pleasure. I had a great time. Yeah,
me too. I'm so glad to have you. So, folks, here's another edition. So, we were talking about getting money, which is my favorite subject. We're going to talk about banking it on another show. So we'll just run through that rotation, right? And so, folks, listen, like, and share. Reach out to Carey, and you see, check out the show notes out for links to Carey's information, and check it out, folks. You got to look for ways to create passive income in your life. So with that, for Carey Buck, this is Curtis May signing off. Thank you for listening to the Practical Wealth Show, and we are out.
Thanks for listening to Practical Wealth. To access the show notes and resources, go to practicalwealthshow.com. To get your questions on the show, go to practicalwealthshow.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any investment decisions, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Practical Wealth. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting.